And we're good to go.
Okay, welcome everybody. My name is Devon Pipars. I love the enthusiasm, and I am excited to have this conversation. And my name is Devon Pipars. I'm a senior instructor at CORE by Hyperice. I think you're familiar with us now, but thank you. Welcome for all members of the APTA for joining and tuning into this session. And today we're going to be talking about resilience, and I'm going to allow my fellow co-teachers to introduce themselves. So Angelica, do you want to go first?
Sure. I'm Angelica. I'm an instructor with CORE, have been for almost 2 years now, New York City based. Yeah, that's a little intro.
Nice. Nikki?
Hi, I'm Nikki, and I am also an instructor with CORE for, I think, gosh, Angelica, you said 2 years, and I think we started at the same time.
Yeah.
I was like, for like 6 months.
What is time anymore?
So I guess it's been 2 years, and I'm based in San Diego, California.
Awesome. And I'm also in Davis, California, I should say that. So East Coast, West Coast represented. So ladies, I wanted to start by just asking you a little bit about your backgrounds. Like what drew you to the practice of meditation, and how did you move into teaching meditation? And can you tell us a little bit about how that's changed your life, like the benefits that you've noticed from a regular meditation practice? I know, how much time do we have, right? That's yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't mind starting.
Sure.
So I think I really started to move into meditation when I realized everything I was doing physically wasn't changing how I was feeling and how I was showing up in the world. And I grew up my adult life, my career was in dance. So I was a professional dancer. I taught fitness. I was very much in my body and really healthy in my body, but just felt really, I guess, not enough. And I felt like I was seeking so much validation from external circumstances, whether I was booking a job or dating somebody and having them like me back, or just all of the things were like reaching for something outside of me. And when I started I kind of got into meditation through Reiki. Was actually the first healing modality that started to get me excited about this other world of energy and of healing. And that's just really when I began to put more time and energy and interest into not just my physical body. So that's when I seeked out a yoga teacher training that was very much steeped in tradition and very much focused on meditation. And so I was like, I know how to do the alignment stuff. Like, that's cool. I'm good. But yeah, once I really began, this was about 5 years ago that I did my teacher training. Once I learned to meditate, it's just, I don't know how I would be getting through these times without the tools that I have. Like, it really keeps me solid and gives me just so many different ways and facets to be and connect to my peace of mind, my health, my stability. And it's not that life just got easy. Like, I didn't start meditating and then like, oh, it's just like rainbows and chai tea lattes every day.
Right.
Nothing's bad. Like, as we know, this world we live in is crazy right now. And it can be really debilitating, and it's so challenging and confronting. And if I didn't have ways that I can get myself back to balance, I don't know what I would do. And it's my mission right now to serve and share as much as I can, because I think we all just could use the support, the community, and the resources to keep ourselves feeling that sense of okayness.
Beautifully said. Thank you. That's a powerful story. Angelica, what's yours?
Can I just go same? No, I'm kidding. No, I'll get a little more detailed, but I too grew up in
Sure,
the world
sure.
of dance, which
Yeah.
which we all
Oh,
know dance is
cool.
a rigorous world where you break every bone and muscle and ligament in your body. Um,
Mm.
and kind of like how I got dragged into yoga, like the asana portion of yoga, I also got dragged into meditation. I was in my yoga teacher training in the Lower East Side. And then we're like, we're going to have a meditation portion now. And I was like, I really don't want to sit up and have to just like try to focus on
Mm.
sitting up straight because like I have that like ballet brain of like posture. So it's just like I always got
Mhm.
distracted and pulled out. And then our instructor said, and if you want to lay down, you can. And that was the first time I ever heard that I could lay down meditating. And then I clearly fell asleep because I was just exhausted from being a New Yorker. Um, so then once I woke up, I was like, oh, this meditating thing isn't too bad. So then I just kept like practicing. And then I started laying my back against a wall. And that's
Mhm.
actually my preferred way now to meditate when I'm not doing like yoga nidra. I like to sit up against a wall to have my back supported. And
Yeah.
it's just like, for me, meditation has definitely helped me a lot with anxiety because as I've recently found out, my body has stored a lot of trauma. Didn't know
Mm.
this until I talked to a professional about it.
Mhm.
And one key moment that I can remember right now was I was on a plane to Dublin to go study abroad in Europe for a semester. And I am horrified of flying, like absolutely petrified.
Mm.
That's another story in itself. And the entire flight, I just kept saying, I am here. I am having a safe flight. I am breathing. And little did
Mm.
I know that I had a 6-hour meditation just doing that to calm myself
Wow.
down from
Yeah.
freaking out on a plane. So as Nikki said, you know, meditation has definitely been a tool that I've gone to time and time again, and especially on a daily, just like we're just gonna sit for 2 minutes on the toilet and we're just gonna meditate right here. Like it doesn't have to be this fancy thing with a bunch of pillows. I really
Yeah.
just go for it
Yeah.
when I have it.
So, such a good point. Such a good point. Actually, when I was in India, my teacher there said, you know, if people around you won't let you meditate, you just spend an extra few minutes in the toilet. He said, no one will ever ask you why you took so long. You know, they won't. So that's a good tip for busy professionals. That's true. I love that. Wow. Okay. So that's a lot. So I'm hearing like restoring balance. I'm hearing, you know, resolving trauma or dealing with trauma. I'm hearing, um, uh, you know, alleviating anxiety. So these are like real world benefits. This is like applicable because it's oftentimes I feel like a lot of people, especially busy professionals, it's hard for them to break out of that mindset of like, well, I don't have time to do this. I'm already behind. I especially people who are givers, like anyone in the APTA is someone who's of service for someone else's good. So it's very hard for people to take care of themselves when they're used to taking care of others to justify that. So what would you like, what kind of tips or advice would you give for those busy professionals with like fully packed lives, like aside from the couple of minutes on the toilet, which is up, it's already out there. You all take that with you. But do you have any other tips for people who are just overloaded in their lives and don't even know how to begin to integrate this practice?
I can start with a couple
Sure.
of tips. Um, I definitely say start small
Mm,
because a lot of times we feel like we have to do this big undertaking of like, I have to set up this whole thing and
yeah.
do this big meditation for like an hour. You know, you can start at a crosswalk, just like stopping instead of trying to rush across the street, stop and wait for the next light and just take a moment to go like, how am I breathing right now? Checking in with where you are. And that's like the small ways where you can enter like these like mini meditations. And I feel like, sorry, I feel like that's a great entryway for, especially when you're like, I have no time. It's like, there's some time. There might not be a ton of time, but there's some
Right.
time we can start to squeeze it in. And then when you
Mm.
find, wait, I have this pocket of 10 minutes. Now I can do something longer. Wait, I have these 20 minutes before bed. And then you can start folding it in.
I love that. I love that. Because, you know, there's no scenario where you don't have to wait. Maybe you're at the grocery store and you're waiting in line or at a bank or something. And it's like you can bring some mindfulness to that moment. You can start to regulate your breath and feel your body and soften through your body. Love that. That's a really applicable tip. Nikki, anything else you would add to that?
Yeah, I think so many of us have the tendency to open up something on their phone when we have those moments of having to wait.
Yeah.
And so being more just aware of that. What do you do in those in betweens, the transition from one thing and then other? Meditation can be infused and integrated into all of it. And it doesn't always have to be, just like Angelica said, this proper way at your altar space, in your pristine meditation.
Yeah.
Like those are wonderful moments if we're able to have those. But everyday householders with families and kids and careers, it's easy to put it all aside and say, I don't have time for that. And really, I think it's like, you don't have time not to.
Yes.
Like it's vital to, I mean, we're meant to be on this earth, like to enjoy it, to do it with purpose. And my whole motto is you have to love yourself first. Because when we don't love ourselves first, we don't take that time, if we don't even think we're worthy of 5 minutes of self-care, then we're going to get depleted real quick when it comes to taking care of everybody else. And we're going to get resentful and angry and depressed. It's like, it really is a slippery slope. So what I tell my students when, you know, this is super new to them, it's like, okay, can you, when you're brushing your teeth in the morning, just look in the mirror and tell yourself one good thing about yourself. Like one positive thing, just looking in the mirror, like something that makes you feel like I can do this. And I think that's also that form of resilience. And then it's like, to me, it's finding those days, those moments in your day where, okay, I'm going to just sit in my car before I go in the house and I'm going to take 3 deep breaths. And I'm just going to like let go of whatever I was just doing, so that the next thing I'm doing, I'm stepping like from a clean slate. And I'm not like taking the baggage from work or from the craziness at the grocery store or whatever things that we just did, like stepping fresh into the next place, like connected to yourself. And then I find 2 more things is anything when you're, I think chopping vegetables like on a daily basis is a form of meditation. And if you can cook for yourself already, that's like a huge way to take care of your well-being. If you're putting like healthy food into your body, and then that time just chopping vegetables, like I like to chant mantra. That's like a really big part of my practice. So I'll just have like a mantra going while I'm chopping my veggies, you know. And if you don't know like fancy Sanskrit long-winded mantras, it can just be telling yourself, Soham, I am that. I am that, I am that. And it's just something very, very simple. And then if you're like, oh shoot, it's the end of the day and I'm in bed and I didn't do anything, I just tell everyone to take a moment, like take 10 breaths, counting your breaths down backwards, and feel your belly rise and fall. And at the end of those 10 breaths, something that you're grateful for. And that could be, if you did that every single day, like it would, it could change your whole life. Just like 1 minute.
Yeah, you're so right. It's such wow. Thank you so much. Wow, those were great tips. And like, and you mentioned, resilience. That's our buzzword, right? So like, in my point of view, like gratitude is resilience. Like just as you say, like self-care, self-love, that is your resilience, because you can't pour from an empty cup. You have to fill your cup if you want to keep pouring for others. You have to put your oxygen mask on first before you assist others. So the givers, the light workers, the people who are, you know, already caretakers, they need to take care of themselves first and foremost in order to keep doing that beautiful selfless work. So that's such an important point. Thank you. And I love, you know, I think this is something that you and Angelica have in common. I know that in Angelica and a lot of your tracks on Core, you have a lot of catchphrases that are super positive. Like "you got this" is one of yours, right? You got, What do you have anything else you would add to that, Angelica?
Oh my gosh, I don't know how much tapestry I can fill in 1 second, but I mean, like, you've got this, keep going. It's, you know, and sometimes when things get really rough, it's temporary.
Nice. Love that.
I think truly, like, it really is, time will pass. This is a moment. It's temporary. It's definitely a huge one.
That's awesome. I love that. That's such a good point. This too shall pass. So resilience, let's talk about that word. What does that mean? I mean, from my perspective, when I think about it, I would say it's our capacity not to avoid challenge or hardship, but to bounce back from it quickly, effectively, evenly, with some natural positivity to make our way through that. But would you ladies add anything else to that definition? Other ways of looking at resilience? I guess
I'll
it
go
could
first.
also be, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think resilience is also very fluid.
Hmm.
Because I feel like sometimes when we think resilience, it's always very like rigid, like I am resilient and I'm just gonna
Yeah.
bulldoze through all of this. And it really is more of like a negotiation and
Hmm.
a navigation. Like you're negotiating with yourself of like, okay, what am I gonna do today? What's
I
gonna
love
happen
that.
tomorrow? What are, you're managing multiple timelines at the same time when you're
Yeah.
being resilient while also trying to maintain a certain energy level.
Yeah.
So it's a delicate balance. And sometimes, as Nikki brought up, sometimes you get like this anger that arises when you're like trying to be resilient and things keep feeling like aren't working out. And it's that going, okay, we're here now. Where are we gonna go next? Like,
Mhm.
trying to find that fluidity and navigating a difficult situation.
Beautiful. I love that. The fluidity, and also asking yourself, like you said, it's not a constant. So asking yourself that question that you pointed out it's the first way in, is like, what's in my power today to be, to build my resilience, knowing that resilience means self-care, self-love, self-compassion, right? How can I, even like Nikki said, as I'm brushing my teeth, that's something I have to do anyway. Can I mindfully use that activity to show myself some care, some compassion, or some love? Great. And like, the breathing before bed, tuning into your gratitude, like filling your cup with acknowledging what's good in you and around you already, without your efforts, without you trying any harder, the blessings that you're receiving anyway. So love this, ladies. Now, is there anything else you would add to, I mean, you mentioned like the ways that your practice has made you personally more resilient, but are there any other tips or anything else you want to say to anyone who's listening to this from a place of depletion, from a place of like burnout or compassion fatigue? Or, I mean, I think we've done a pretty good job, and it's okay to not have more to say. You've done a lot, but just want to make some space. Is there anything else on your minds around resilience and meditation?
Yeah, I think sometimes when we talk about resilience, it feels like it has to be this huge thing. It's like I'm resilient because I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. It's
Right,
like
right.
it doesn't always have to be climbing the mountain in order to show up for yourself, for the people around you. And I think that sometimes when we are in those states of depletion, sometimes your resilience is just getting out of bed and taking off your pajamas and putting on other clothes. That could be what is building your resilience of that day. And that's it.
Yeah.
And I think it's really in those small moments when everything is kind of like even, that we can show ourselves like, okay, life isn't too like wild right now. The waves are kind of calm. How can I be resilient today? Those are the days that maybe we're doing some of the bigger, more, tasks that require a little bit more of that will, that inner discipline, that fire within us to be like, no, I am getting everything on my to-do list done. I'm checking all my emails, like whatever those things are. And then you feel like, okay, I did that today. So then when life gets like, oh my gosh, super chaotic, it's not like this all of a sudden overwhelming task to take care of yourself. You're like, okay, I'm just going to get out of bed. I'm going to take off my pajamas and put on clothes. I'm going to make my lemon water, and I'm going to start one thing at a time. And what I've really found, like you said in the beginning, Devon, is, it's that bouncing back. And so at first, the bounce back might take you time. If this is a new word or practice and meditation is new, maybe it's not immediate. Maybe your bounce back time is a few months of feeling sad or anxious or tired. And then you start to kind of build it up. And then you're like, oh, something happened that put me in a really terrible mood. And it was only a week. I only thought about it for a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then one day, it's like, I know for me, my bounce back ability because of my commitment to my practice is so much more solid.
Right.
It's like, I was leading a retreat a couple days ago, actually. And one of the first days on the retreat, we went cliff jumping, and I lost my Apple Watch on the cliff jump. And so it's like moments like that where it's like you can get super bent out of shape,
Right.
and that the whole week just like be upset because I lost this expensive tool that I use to manage my playlist and all of these things that help me teach better. Or in that moment, I can be like, it's okay. Life happens for a reason. I'm going to let it go and everything's going to be fine. And we're here and I'm going to show up. And gosh, there was definitely a time that would have really ruined my whole trip.
Yeah.
And this time I was like, I was upset for like 5 minutes where I looked for it. And then I went on with the day, and we had a beautiful rest of our week. And on the last day, one of the local guides went diving and found the watch.
Did it still work?
Apparently it still works. One of the yoga teachers was still there and was like, I press the button and the light goes on, but
that's
it looks
wild.
like the battery's dead. So she's going to ship it to me.
That is wild, Nikki. That is wild. See, you just never know. You just never know. And if you had stayed in that funk for your whole time and, ruined the retreat for yourself, why? Like for no reason, you were getting it back from the universe anyway. That's amazing. I love that story. Cool. And I love this point of like the bounce back ability. That's a new word now that we've just coined in this space. Like I found this too, like with my practice, I'm more like Teflon than I used to be. It's not like, there's a moment of sticking, but I can let it go much more quickly. And it's like, and that to me is my resilience, not becoming like a robot or an automaton, not having feelings, not having no reaction to the things that are in my space or I'm interacting with, but just being able to choose like my freedom from that intensity in any moment and be like, I choose to let this go. I choose not to let this ruin my day. I choose to still show up with my full heart. Like I'm only depriving myself when I don't choose that. Right. So beautiful. Are you willing to lead us all, Nikki, in a little meditation?
Of course.
Okay.
I would love to.
Great. Angelica and I get to receive. It's very lovely. Thank you.
Yes. So let's just take a couple minutes for us all to take our intention inward. So that might mean closing your eyes or just softening your gaze. You can sit up in your chair or even lay down. Yeah. And let's all collectively take 3 deep breaths in. So through your nose, fill yourself up. Out your mouth, maybe with some sound, exhale the breath out and release. If it feels good, let your body soften from tension. And again, inhale, receive another full body breath. And then exhale to just let it go until you're emptied. Feel that sense of emptiness before you fill up one more time. And at the top of your inhale, hold that breath in. With your breath held in, just drop your awareness down into your heart. Sense yourself full. And just inviting relaxation and ease whenever you feel called. You can exhale that breath out slowly, however it likes to come out. And just beginning to stay connected to your breath. Following it, move in and out of your nose. I invite you to just notice any areas in the body that feel held or tight. And see if you can just soften there, release tension. And beginning to find focus Let's start to collect this awareness of the breath. So as you inhale, sense that you draw the breath up the nostrils and collect it at the point between your eyebrows. When you exhale, just visualize and sense your awareness moving from that single point back out through both nostrils. And we'll just repeat this a few times. So it's an inhale, like a triangular shape, 2 points meet and merge at one point between the brows. And then exhale, it descends back out. And see if you can allow the breath to be smooth and seamless, taking away any hitches or pause. And with your focused attention on your breath, you may begin to find that there's a quality riding it. An energy, a light, a force. And even if you can't tune into any of that, just imagine that there's this intelligence riding your breath, collecting at your eyebrow center. And then keeping your awareness at your eyebrow center, allow the breath to fall away. And feel this collection of energy, of prana, of intelligence and light unfolding at your third eye. And from this place, sense that there is peace, maybe even joy unfolding from this place between your eyebrows. And start to recognize that the source of this is you. And taking that quality that you're tuning into and slowly sense that you can move it down your head, down your throat, down your heart, and let it land at your navel center. And from this place, begin to become aware of your own will. Your center of fire, of discipline, of strength. And just take a moment to reflect on everything that has led you to this moment right now today. Through all of the challenge, the hardship, the obstacles, you've still managed to overcome and show up today for you. Let that fuel your inner fire with more ferocity, more passion. And just in your own way, find a deep sense of gratitude for you. Start to deepen your breath. And when you're ready, you can maybe start to bring your palms together, rub them briskly. You take your warm palms to cup your closed eyes and just sense that you are coming back, rejuvenated and resourced.
That was so lovely. Thank you so much.
You're
I definitely
welcome.
feel restored. Thank you
Mm.
both for your wisdom, for your experience, for your brilliance. You so eloquently like illuminated this topic from the perspective of your higher awareness through your practice as yoginis. And I'm so grateful for you. For anyone who's wanting to hear more and receive more from these two beings, you can check them out on our core premium subscription. So we have new tracks coming in every day from all of our brilliant instructors. And that's available to you with core. So thank you so much, APTA, for hosting us. Thank you, ladies, for your time, for your wisdom. Take care. We'll see you next time.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.